What's going on, guys? I'm Shizwack, and I'm back with another Should I Buy It?, where I take a game on your request or of my choice, break it down, rip it apart, and give you everything you need to know to make that sound decision on a purchase. Let me waste my money so you don't have to. Today, I give you this war of mine. If I had to describe this war of mine in a couple of words, I would say it's a side-scroller, survival, strategy game. It's got many deep mechanics. If you don't like side-scrollers, don't stop this video, because this isn't your typical side-scroller. It's point and click, there's gathering, there's stealth, there's interaction with other characters, you have to manage resources, along with emotional statuses. It's atmospheric, it's stressful, and it's a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna hop right in and show you what you need to know. Let's rock and roll. You'll see here, once I hit survive, it gives you a couple of options for a story. There's a lot going on as far as background to characters, how they interact. They get perks that really help define who they are. I have unlocked these other ones as I played because I met some characters in-game. And as you play, someone will come knocking on your door and they'll want to join you. Sometimes they're looking for shelter, and if you take them in, they make it to this list one way or another. So let's get going with Kasia, Bruno, and Pavle to start. Day 1. During the day, you're in your hideout, you're fixing it up, cooking, bandaging, sleeping, managing your social stuff, and that's really how a hideout works in a nutshell. Of course, you start in a fresh hideout, you gotta go and scavenge a bit and manage your characters. You'll see here there's a bit of a backstory on how these people met, and this is the case with every character and combination of characters. They always have something going on which will have an effect on how the game plays out. Time's ticking. During the day, from 5 AM to 8 PM, you're in your hideout managing your characters and what they're doing. And then from 8 PM and on, you're out scavenging. You can scavenge with one character at a time. As far as controls go, it's just simple point and click. You'll see there's icons all over. Each icon will do something different, whether it's a door to open or a pile to search or a big pile of debris like you see here to get out of your way. So a hand is generally search. Just click on it, let them roll. You'll see I'm kind of jumping around between characters as I'm letting another character do something. So that's the smartest way to manage your characters when you're in a hideout. Because time's ticking, you really need to make use of it. Get them contributing each to their own. How this all plays out is very random. The inventory system is quite simple. Basically, you'll see on the left is our things, and that is everything you have in your hideout. There's no maximum as far as I've found out so far, so you just keep loading to it as you go. The only time you have to worry about backpack space is when you go out scavenging, which I will show you in a bit. So I'm just grabbing all materials as I find them. Once you clear out your hideout and find all the materials in your hideout, it's time to start building. So it's not like I will be doing this throughout the days. It's just your first day is clearing out your hideout and getting it ready to lock it down and survive in it. A double click will make them run. It will make more noise. I'll show you a bit more about noise once we get out scavenging. The point and click system works very well. It's very user-friendly, very straightforward, very intuitive. This here is your workshop, so you can advance your hideout with certain things, whether you're building stoves for heat or cooking stoves or an apparatus to gather rainwater. It all starts here. So to start off, we're going to need beds. So I'm going to make one bed right off the bat. Just select it. Very easy. Click make. And then you have to place it. So I think I'm going to put beds. You try to keep everything together because the less walking, the better. So I'm going to put beds down here. She's going to go build that. He's clearing debris there. Bruno is done here. They also each have a trait. So Bruno being a good cook, Kasia has bargaining skills, and then Pavle is a fast runner. Then there's status effects with them. So Pavle is slightly sick. I'm going to need to find medicine to cure that. He's also going to need rest. The bed's done. You can just lay in it, but she's not sleepy. You try to get as much as you can before the time ends. So you'll see up top here we have the day, the time, and the temperature. Until it gets down to 14 Celsius, you don't really have to worry about the heat. You only start noticing an effect, they'll start talking and saying it's starting to get cold, this and that, and then you may want to consider building a stove. So for now, we're just going to leave it alone. If I build anything as far as fire goes, I'm going to build a cook station. So I'm going to go right away and build a metal workshop. Metal workshops are important. You can build crowbars, knives, shovels, instruments to help you scavenge when you go out into the world. Time's ticking, it's almost 8 o'clock, and at that point we have to decide what we're going to do with who and continue our quest for survival. You'll hear a ticking noise in your last hour. That's when you really have to start rushing things and finish up what you're doing. Especially if you're out scavenging during the night. And the day is over, and that brings us to the night. Upon night, 8 o'clock, you're going to see this screen. From here, you need to plan what you're going to do. So we have these surrounding areas. This is all we have discovered right now. An abandoned cottage, a ruined villa, and a quiet house. This is where you check out status effects and decide what you're going to do with who. As far as backpack space goes, I have 12 slots in each of these characters, so I am going to use one of them to scavenge. Probably Kasia, because she seems to be clear as far as status effects go. I'm going to put Bruno on guard. This will help against raiders. There are chances that you get raided in the middle of the night. It doesn't go into combat or anything, but it'll just basically give you a rundown on what happened. And it usually leaves people either injured or dead, and supplies gone. And because he's slightly sick, we're going to have him sleep. So, there we go. That's my decision. That's what we're going to do. You can check out different areas of the map. I think I'm going to start with the abandoned cottage. Last time I played it, it was a good starting spot. There weren't other people in it, so I didn't have to make any decisions on whether or not I was going to kill them. Yes, more on that in a minute. I'm going to take my shovel with me. Before you go out scavenging, it'll bring up this screen, and it will say, what do you want to bring? So if you have weapons and armor of any kind, Kevlar, you're going to want to bring those with you if you're going into a dangerous zone. But for now, I'm just going to take my shovel with me. It's all I will need for this level. And then hit scavenge. So here we are. It is important that you really read what people are saying, because this will give a good indication on what to do next or how to handle a certain individual. If you run into a character out here and they're talking about raiding someone, you know they're not a good person, so at that point you might want to make the decision on killing them. If you run into some innocents and decide to kill them, I mean, hey, it's survival, so that can happen, but you may want to think twice before having to do that, because it does affect your emotional status. You can get depressed or sad. These things can eventually lead to a character being broken in which you can't control them at all, or even them committing suicide. You can always come back to these places. The basic mechanics of the game are you sneak around, you loot this stuff, you'll hear noises if there's either rats or other people in the level. There'll be red blips behind a door, and that means there's noise. So if you can look through a keyhole and check out what it is, and you see someone with a weapon, you're going to have to think twice. If you see a rat, go ahead, no problem. There's areas to hide, different ways to kill, whether you backstab, whether you take cover, then shoot, chase them down, hide in a hallway in a dark corner, and then jump out and kill them. It's not an action game per se, like I said. It's heavy on strategy, so you really want to make sure you have the right tools, are in the right position, and are not making enough noise to alert everyone else around you, because it is very, very easy to die in this game. There's a noise blip right there. It's probably just a rat. You can always come back the next night, as long as you don't wait too long, because places will get cleared out by other scavengers. If you hear someone talking upstairs, you will see the voice bubble, and you'll hear them speaking, basically. And from there, you can kind of plan your next decision. Magnifying glasses. It will kind of either describe something, or you'll find a note, or whatever else, a journal, and it could give you a tip on the level you're in, whether it's something buried in the backyard or something hidden behind a fridge. Well, here's some very valuable items. Food, right away, we need that. Water. This is sugar. You can make alcohol. Alcohol is great for bartering. Alcohol, tobacco, coffee, those kinds of things are very valuable. It's a good idea to save them up. They're great for trading and getting resources you need. Or you could use them to make your characters happy. So sometimes characters will smoke, and that will just keep them in a better mood as you go. We all know in this type of survival game, mood is everything. You got to keep them happy. They'll be more efficient on what they're doing. I'm running around right now like nothing's going on, making noise because I know there's no one in this house. If there was someone in this house, I would be sneaking. Remember, if you're sneaking, you're closing doors behind you. If you make changes to the environment, people in the environment will notice. Whether you leave a door open or have searched something or have stolen something, they're going to see that and go looking for you. So here, this is a great example, but I don't want to use the gun anymore. It's broken and buried in the backyard. So at this point, that will reveal a spot I can search in the backyard, which is where I came in. We'll get that on our way out. And we're about full. That's about all we can get for now. We can come back and gather what we need after. I just want to point out here while we have some time in this night, you'll see you can go into scavenge mode or combat mode. So when you're in combat mode, health bars will appear above everyone you're fighting, and above yourself as well, and you can then hide, backstab, hit them. And combat is all about rolls. So if you walk up to someone, you're literally clicking on them. You keep clicking, and depending on the distance you are from them, how full the hit meter is, you just keep that clicking going at the appropriate times, and then it's all based on luck and rolls, which your effects, whether you're injured, even hungry, tired, all of that plays into it. Basically, if you get someone who is content and in good health, they're going to fight much better than someone with no stats, as Kasha has in the bottom right corner. I'm just going to click the bio button to show you a bit about that. So you'll see here, she's a coffee drinker. So coffee for me now is a valuable commodity. I'm going to want to gather those beans because it will keep Kasha satisfied. These are the things you want to look out for. Whether they're a smoker or a reader, you can get these things to keep your characters that are in your hideout that much happier. The setting is there's a war going on. You're just a group of civilians trying to survive, and that's it. From what I've been told, it's 50 days long, which takes quite some time. I mean, depending on how thorough you are, 4 to 5 hours into it, maybe longer. Here is that spot in the backyard, which we discovered, so we'll now search it. And then when you're done, getting close to 5 AM, you just simply click run to exit. If you don't make it out in time, you will not return home immediately. You'll come back in the middle of the day. There's a chance that you'll lose supplies from raiders. There's a chance that you'll get your ass kicked, and whether you die or come back injured. When 4 AM rolls around, depending on the size of the level you're in, maybe you want to start earlier, but then you head back to the exit. It's very, very important to get back before 5 AM. When you get home, a new day starts. Status effects of everyone have changed at this point. So you'll see here, Cash is hungry and tired. We have Pavle, who's hungry and slightly sick, but he's recovering because he's laying in a bed. And then we have Bruno, who is also hungry and tired. You could use tab to switch characters as well. We have a crowbar now, so she can open this. There we go, some bandages, some herbs. Anything you want a description on, there's great descriptions on what they're used for, so you're not going to be guessing how materials work. Just click on it and read. It's that easy. The atmosphere you could see right away. It's grim, it's gray. There's everything from suicide to moral choices you are going to have to make along the way. I mean, if you're surviving and you need food or need bandages, you may want to go slay some innocent people. If their house has what you need and they're protecting it and you feel it's worth it, even though your character might become depressed from doing it. They don't like killing people. There is durability on the items you have, so whether it's crowbars, shovels, lockpicks are used once, weapons have durability. I want to save that crowbar for my next scavenge because I know there's some areas in that abandoned cottage that I want to get into, so I'm going to try to get into them with the crowbar. So I want to show you some combat quickly, so I'm going to go right into an area that I think has people. We're going to take the crowbar, shovel, and a lockpick. Let's rock and roll. See what's inside. We'll take a peek through the hole first. I'm not going to loot this stuff. I want to get right to combat. Innocent old people. So who are you? What the hell's going on? Now this is where you'll have to make a moral decision. So I'm going to beat this guy with a shovel. Brutal. It's brutal. It doesn't feel good, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And combat's the simple point and click. You'll see And now he's going to be quite depressed because he just beat 2 innocent people with a fucking shovel. There's a cover system. So you can kind of take cover and face this way, and it comes more into effect when you have a gun, where you can, less of a chance of getting hit, pop out and shoot before someone can get to you, or shoot back at you. There's also corners and dark hallways that you can hide in, wait for someone to walk by, jump out, backstab them. So let's go back to scavenge mode, we'll get this house looted, and head back and wrap it up. These diamonds are used for bartering, and all they're good for really is trading with someone to get items that you might need. It's just value, and that's really it. Now, as the days go by, it does get harder. You'll get raided more, so you have to board up your windows. You'll see the workstations and the stoves all have an upgrade feature, and that is how you keep advancing with what you have in your hideout. Right here, you'll see we've been raided. Someone came at night to take our things by force. Someone tried to rob us. They might have been more scared than us. They didn't do much harm. Too bad we had no weapons. Bruno was wounded, but the attackers didn't steal anything. We were able to defend ourselves. And that's completely random. New status effects. So, Cash is sad. We have Bruno, who's slightly wounded and very tired. And we have Pavle, who is hungry and depressed. No, because he just beat 2 innocent people with a shovel. So, you have to deal with this stuff. So you'll see here, this is the upgrade icon I was talking about. So on our cook station, for example, click the upgrade, it will tell you what you need, and then you can just cook more meals, cook it more efficiently. If you upgrade the metal workshop, you'll then be able to build firearms, bullets, and that kind of thing as you advance. I'll show you a bit about the interaction system. There is a talk bubble above this character's head. Because we have some emotional effects going on with depression and sadness, we have to take care of them. So you have to have your characters interact. They'll talk it out. Just grab another character who preferably isn't sad or depressed and have them talk it out with them. You'll see thought bubbles will be going. They'll be having a conversation. Someone is at the door. This will give me a chance to show you the bartering system. And whether it's someone who wants to barter, or someone who wants to join you, or someone who needs help, you will get random door knocks throughout the days. Trade. And he has all this stuff. We have some gems. We have some sugar, which I don't need right now. You have to even it out. Sugar back. We still have a deal. We still have a deal. We still have a deal. And it won't do try harder. Go back with 1 sugar. That's the bare minimum. So we'll do that. And that's a trade. And these two are still talking it out. What else can we build? A radio. Radios will give you tips on what's going on the map. It'll also tell you if something's worth more, like coffee is run out and it's a very valuable resource, for example. And that will give you the indication to collect the coffee beans, so you can then trade coffee beans with anyone who wants to barter. And there you have it, guys. This war of mine. Quite complex, still early enough, there's some bugs in it, but it's definitely worth the 20 bucks in my opinion. Its replay value is huge. You can keep going back, get a different experience every time, take different approaches to different areas in the world. 50 days, so this is only day 3. To make it to day 50 is actually quite hard. You need to start working on getting firearms, better weapons and armor, more food. The more people you take in, the more mouths to feed. You know, work with your bios on who needs what. There's a lot of management. I did say stressful. Whenever you're getting low on resources and someone's injured and you don't have bandages, or they're hungry and there's no food, it gets stressful. You're raiding and you're getting desperate, and it really gives that sense of desperation when you go out into the world. Lots to work on in your hideout. You can lay it out different every time. That makes it fun. Different combinations of characters make it fun. It's definitely worth the 20 bucks. Like I said, if you're afraid of side-scrollers, don't worry about it. Personally, I don't like side-scrollers, but this game is not your typical side-scroller. It's strategy first with survival, and it's just something totally unique, and you have not played anything like it. Give it a go. This war of mine, it's great. 20 bucks on Steam. Hope this video helped you out, guys. If you have any comments, additions, suggestions, throw them down below. If you want me to cover another game, just let me know on Twitter or on my YouTube discussions. Concluding another Should I Buy It? I'm Shizwack, all one word. Hit that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter for updates on uploads and other PC gaming news. Have a great one, guys. Peace.